Are you planning a wedding in Cancun and looking for something to do while you're at your wedding for you and your guests? Hi, I'm Jack with DestinationWeddingEase.com, and I've been traveling to Cancun and Riviera Maya for over 25 years. If you're looking for something to do for you and your guests while you're at your wedding, stay tuned. I have 7 really cool things for you to do. When we help clients plan a destination wedding, one of the things people are always asking about is what can I do while I'm at the wedding, other than what's at the resort. So we always are looking whether it's a group trip for you and your guests, or if individual guests are at the resort and they just want to do something other than sit by the pool and hang out. So there's 2 ways to deal with this. One is, prior to everybody leaving, we put a custom trip together for the wedding group. The other way to plan a trip would be, once you or your guests get to the resort, at each resort, there's going to be a tour company or 2. I would then go to them, see what they have to offer, and then plan the trip with them. Don't go to the beach and plan a trip with the guy walking down the beach with the sign, because typically those, yes, they will be cheaper, but who knows if the van's going to be air conditioned, if there's a guide that speaks English, if you're going to get back in time. So please make sure to book with a reputable company, and we usually suggest one of the companies at the hotel. So here we go. Here are 7 of my favorite excursions in Cancun and Riviera Maya. Go swim in a cenote. So what's a cenote? There's only a couple places in the world that you can swim in a cenote, and Cancun Riviera Maya happens to be one of them. They are basically underwater caves or pools or rivers under the ground that you can swim in or snorkel in. Some of them you have to climb a rope down or climb a ladder into. Some you can walk up a river and you're in a cave. And some are just little lakes, freshwater lakes in the middle of the jungle. Very cool, very interesting. You can float, you can dive, some are more adventurous. There are multiple companies that will provide these trips, and they'll be half-day to full-day trips. And it's really one of the fun things to do is to swim in a cenote. Number 2, since the water is beautiful turquoise with amazing fish and coral, do a snorkel trip. So many of the resorts you can snorkel right off the beach, but if you really want a great snorkel trip, do a half-day snorkel trip. The resort's going to offer many. Some are going to be half-day on a catamaran, some will be a power boat, some will take you out to Isla Mujeres where you can maybe swim with the nurse sharks, some will take you to the underwater museum off of Cancun, and some will take you to the reef between Playa del Carmen and Cozumel. But no matter what trip you do, you should see beautiful fish and coral and enjoy yourself. Most of the trips will take you to 2 or 3 stops. At the end of the trip, they're going to have usually rum punch or a lunch or something for you to relax and enjoy the ride back on the catamaran or the boat. Number 3 is ziplining. You can zipline in many different places now, including here in Philadelphia at the zoo. But there are many very cool zipline places throughout the Riviera Maya and Cancun. Some of them you can zipline backwards, some of them are in a harness, some of them in a cart, some are over water, some allow you to dive into the water or scrape into the water as you're ziplining. So there are multiple places that have very long zip lines, high zip lines, low zip lines. So again, a lot of options depending upon what your ability is. But ziplining in the Riviera Maya and Cancun is really a really fun thing to do while you're at a destination wedding. Number 4 would be go to an adventure park. Now there are a lot of adventure parks down in the Riviera Maya. Most of them will have a lot of things for you to do for a half-day or a day. So there's Xel-Há, Xcaret, Selvitica. Many of them will have some ziplining at some, hiking, swimming in a lagoon, ATV riding. Each one is going to have a day pass. From what we see, prices are any place between, say, $100 to $150 per person, but that usually includes the transportation from your host hotel to the park, usually a meal. Some of them have all-inclusive passes, so while you're there you can eat and drink for the whole day. But the adventure parks are a lot of fun for the day. One of my favorite adventure parks is relatively new. They have whitewater rafting, they have dune buggies you can drive, they have kayaking, they have a track going through the air that you can slide through or glide around. It's not a zip line, but it's a very cool experience. and that is called Xavage, and it is closer to the airport than most of the other parks. Again, it's a great brand new park, just opened in mid-2020, and it's a lot of fun. Something that's really unusual at one of the parks is a park called Explore. It has Explore Fuego, which means you can do all the activities at night. Ziplining at night, there's one area where you go through a ring of fire. You can take the dune buggies at night. They will actually take you into a cenote, an underwater cave at night, and it's lit up. It's really a fun thing to do, and that is Explore Fuego. One of my other favorite things to do is ride ATVs. You can ride ATVs many different places. The problem in many places is it's very sandy and dirty, and you're just riding along a road. The nice thing in the Riviera Maya is a lot of the ATV parks will allow you to ride through puddles and get muddy and dirty, and some of them will also allow you to ride to a cenote. So there's a lot of combo parks, and there's various types of ATVs. Some of them have these dune buggies that are really cool, and some just have a typical four-wheeler that one or two people can sit on. So ATV riding is a lot of fun. It's a good way to spend an afternoon, and you're going to get very, very dirty, especially if you're hitting the mud pile and all that just mud spits up right all over you. Within about an hour of Cancun Airport, very close to Tulum, is the ruins of Tulum. Beautiful sights, hangs out over a beach. What I will tell you is if you're going to go, make sure you take a hat. It is always hot. No matter when I've been there, it's hot. If you're really into the architectural ruins, then you should go to Chichen Itza. Chichen Itza is a full day trip. You will leave at 7 in the morning and be back at 7 or 8 at night. They'll take you to a couple classical Mayan towns, but Chichen Itza is probably one of the nicest ruins that you will see in that area of Mexico. There also is another spot called Coba, but I'd really recommend Chichen Itza as the site to see if you have a full day. If you only have a half day, I would do Tulum, and then if you want to do the cool little town of Tulum, you can walk around there. Or sometimes, again, you will find trips that will have a combination of Tulum and maybe a cenote, or Tulum and a zip line. So there's a lot of options in these trips, but these will be my top 7 trips. And again, you can either work with us prior to your wedding to put a group trip together, or once you get there, see one of the tour companies. 2 of our favorite tour companies would be Amstar, and another one would be Lomas. My last excursion for you that really is just wild is nightclubs. So if you're staying at an all-inclusive resort, every resort is going to have a little bit of nightlife, whether it's a show, a piano bar, or a club. But if you really want to get out there and party and go to a disco, then the tours into Cancun will be the thing for you. So one place that really is just crazy is called Coco Bongo. They will provide a show, they'll have a club, they'll have a disco, they'll have another show. It starts at about 10 o'clock at night, and usually you may not get back to the hotel till 2 or 3 in the morning. But there are various tours that you can hit 2 or 3 of the nightclubs in Cancun. So you can go to Mandela and the City and Coco Bongo. So you can talk to the team at the resort, or it's something that your travel professional can put together for you before you head to the wedding, so that you have a group trip with private transportation. So if you and your guests don't want to just sit around the resort all day and you want to get out and see things, as you can see, there's plenty of things to do in Cancun and Riviera Maya. These are some of my top things to do, but there are many other things to do. If you're thinking about a wedding in Cancun and Riviera Maya and you haven't booked it yet, please see my video, which talks about how to get free perks such as a free reception or a free cocktail party or a free room for the bride and groom. I'll link to that here. If you're looking for further information, feel free to follow my channel and subscribe, and also hit the bell so you get notifications.